So how do we know when our beanie's ready to be big enough? This is Mrs. Foamy. Say hi. Hi. And she's got a smaller head than me. But when you put it on the crown of your head, see how it comes. This is the straight part of your head. See how it comes to where my fingers are? So if I hold my hands up straight, it touches my fingers. This will fit Mrs. Foamy. I need a few more rounds because she's smaller than me. So if it's for a child that you have, you'll measure it in the same way. Put your hands up straight. If the beanie comes to the fingers, you know you're ready to go. When we're ready to make the sides of our beanie, so we've stopped our increase rounds, we want to chain up 3, and then we just put 1 stitch in each stitch. So we're just going around. Sorry if this is a bit fast, just showing you where to get to. In this last stitch we would have done our increase, but now we don't. We just do 1 stitch. So just 1 into 1, chaining 1, going on to our next section. And same thing again, when you get to that stitch before you chain 1 space, you only do 1 stitch in that stitch. And then you just continue on until your beanie is long enough. Now as you can see, this hat is a little bit too big, and it is also a bit big for my head also. So I'm going to do 2 more rounds, and this is going to decrease the size of the brim so that it actually fits my head. And then we are going to add a peak or a brim to the front of the beanie. So to get this look, all I did was add 2 extra rows of increase than what I would have needed to make it just a plain beanie. So this is going to be sort of a newsboy baggy look to the top of the hat. So depending on how much larger your hat is, will depend on how many decreases that we need to make. Now this isn't that much bigger than what I need it to be, so I won't need to make as many decreases. So what we want to do, I am actually going to work half double crochet now. This was all double crochet. I'm going to work a half, so that's a chain 2, and then we're working into the next stitch. And working our way around, we want to reasonably evenly space our decreases. So I'm going to try every 5th stitch, and I'm talking and not concentrating on what I'm doing. So about every 5th stitch I'm going to do a decrease. And as we go around, we want to try this onto our head. I'm going to crochet into the space, and then I'm going to work a decrease, so it's yarning over, going into the 1st stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop. We have 3 on our hook. We're going to leave these 3 there and yarn over again, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches or loops on our hook, yarning over and then pulling through all of those loops. And what that has done has made a decrease. So now we are going to continue on for a few more stitches. And if you need to decrease this a lot, you might want to put less stitches in between your your decreases. So I'm going to work a decrease. I'm not really counting these stitches, I'm just sort of spacing it out evenly. So we've yarned over and we've gone into our next stitch. Yarned over, pulling up a loop. We're going to yarn over again, go into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 5 on our hook. Yarning over and then pulling through all of those stitches. That's done our decrease, so I'm going to work about 5 more stitches. And what this will do is start to make the rim of our beanie smaller so that it actually fits our head properly. So I'm going to work another decrease, and then as we work around I'm going to try this onto my head to see if it fits. When we get to the end of our round, we want to slip stitch into the second chain of our beginning chain 2. And now you want to work one more row of half double crochet. So we chain up 2. I still need to decrease mine a little bit, so I'm going to space my decreases out a lot more because I only need a few more. So I need about 4 or 5 more, so you're going to leave at least, say, 10 stitches and try and space them evenly. If it's not completely even, it doesn't matter, just sort of guess it as you go around and that will be close enough because you're not going to notice where you put your decreases. So this is what we have so far. As we know, Mrs. Foamy's head is smaller than mine, so it's going to look a bit like a slouch beanie on her, so that looks pretty cool. So now we want to add a brim. So I haven't finished off my yarn and we want to attach our brim on here. So you need to flip it around so that you're looking at the top of the beanie. And then we want to add our stitch marker. So where we finished off here, you want to count 4 stitches or about an inch to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you want to fold it down, go across here, count the same amount of stitches or the same amount of space, so an inch, put in your stitch marker. Just tie a loose knot just so it won't fall out. And then we want to crochet from here to here. But we need to attach one more strand of yarn because we're going to work 2 strands of yarn for our brim. So we're going to be working with 2 strands. So I just want to attach this second strand of yarn. So I've just gone through the stitch, looped it over and pulled up, and we've got both stitches there. And we want to work, so just chain 1. And we want to work into the row below. So not this row here, this row here. Working a single crochet, and we're going to put 2 into each stitch. So it's going into the row below, working 2 single crochets, and keep doing this all the way to our stitch marker. Once you get to your stitch marker, we want to chain 1. Turn our work and do 1 single crochet in each stitch across until we get to the end. And once we get to the end, this is our previous row here. We're going to work a single crochet in the row below that. So you're going to single crochet into the next stitch and slip stitch in the next 2. So into the normal place where you'd slip stitch. So it's turning, chaining 1, working 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then increase in the next, so that's 2 stitches into the 1 stitch. Work another 3 stitches, and then work an increase, so it's 2 into the same stitch, and repeat this all the way across. That's 1, 2 and 3, and then increase in that stitch. 1, 2 and 3, and increase in that next one till we get to the end. So when we get to the end of the row, we are going to single crochet down into here. So we're skipping that row and going down with a single crochet and then slipping in the next 2 stitches. Turning our work, chaining 1, and just for this part here we're going to miss the next one and slip in, single crochet into the next. What that does is just makes that a bit neater there. So single crochet in every stitch across. And we're just going to single crochet. I'm up to the other end of my brim now. So I'm just going along. And I've come to the end, going into the next stitch down the bottom here with a single crochet and then 2 slip stitches. And that's our brim finished.